Let's talk about fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is a tissue disorder, as I understand it. I'm not an MD, I'm not a doctor, and so I cannot diagnose people, and I don't understand fibromyalgia as deeply as your MD, who may be able to give you some very good scientific information about fibromyalgia. However, I have worked with scores of women mostly. I think fibromyalgia attacks mostly 80% women. And I have worked with men also that have fibromyalgia. Some of the common factors of indicators in fibromyalgia is sensitivity, general sensitivity around the body. There can also be specific points along the spine which are sensitive. Chronic fatigue is something that really drags down a person with fibromyalgia. There can also be, well, across the board. If a person has suffered from fibromyalgia for any length of time, there is an effect that the physical depression of fibromyalgia causes a psychological depression as well. So depression is another key element in understanding fibromyalgia and what it can do to a wonderful, fun-loving person. It can change your life for the worse, and people feel at their wits' end. People feel desperate. People basically oftentimes feel like they've just about given up. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to feel like doing anything. You don't want to engage in life anymore. I think the reason why structural integration probably helps a lot of the people that I work with fibromyalgia has a lot to do with oxygenating the tissue. This is speculation. None of this has been clinically proven, but I don't know why it works, but it does. And why I think it might work is that there seems to be a cellular deficiency of oxygen in a person with fibromyalgia. This is something that's fairly common across the board. The work that I do oxygenates the tissue. It infuses the tissue with oxygen that's carried via the bloodstream. Other forms of body work can do the same thing, but the idea of integrating and differentiating the layers of connective tissue seem to go the extra mile on that. I should mention my wife, Virginia. My lovely wife suffered horribly with fibromyalgia. In fact, she was on disability. She received disability compensation because she could not work. She couldn't hold a job. She could probably get to work 2 days a week, but she never knew which 2 days a week it was. And there wasn't, we ran out of employers that were willing to work with a person that was that unreliable. She has the most incredible work ethic. She is a strong, wonderful, loving, caring person who enjoys working hard. The disease of fibromyalgia just knocked her down to nothing. She is now completely recovered. She does not consider herself to be a fibromyalgia sufferer any longer. She got to call Social Security and say, hey, quit sending me the money. That's another story. They couldn't figure out how to quit sending the checks for a couple of months because not many people get to do that. But the idea is that she was embracing life. She was better. She attributes it to two things, basically. One, of course, structural integration. The other one was nutritional considerations, and she worked a lot with a nutritionist, a nutritional counselor who helped her find the right balances in her body. There was food that she was eating that was worsening her effect. There was food that she was not taking that could have helped. The nutrition played into the hormonal balance. The hormonal balance affected her body's ability to absorb nutrition. There was this horrible cycle she was in biochemically. She was so interested in helping people not only with the structural integration but also with the nutritional plan that she was on the brink of pursuing a whole other realm of education so she could study this form of working with people and their nutrition to help restore their natural balance as they suffer from fibromyalgia. As God would have it, and there are no accidents in the world, we had this incredible meeting here at our new home at the Willow Bend Wellness Center. And Dr. Lamb brought us into a meeting with another group, and we were talking about actually some logistical things about who gets what part of the building, and are we going to share a reception room, and you know, what bathroom are you going to have, and stuff like that. And, wow, you know, God works His miracles. Suddenly we realized who they were, that they're the Anti-Aging and Vitality Center, that they already had two very successful and viable locations elsewhere in the United States, and that they were now moving their successful practice into Plano. And what they're doing is exactly what helped Virginia, which is to provide this brand of working with nutrition to promote the health of the endocrine system and the hormones, so that fibromyalgia is one of the very specific things that they target and they work with and they are experts on. When we realized who they were and they realized who we were and that we both worked with fibromyalgia, and it was just like cha-ching, Dr. Lamb and his mother, who were also present in the meeting, got all wide-eyed and realized, oh my gosh, we hit a home run. We've got these two people. Not only are they, two people that we want in our building, but they're a perfect match for each other. And in fact, the two of them working together can provide a synergy and a complete package of working for the health on the inside out as well as the outside in. And so if you're looking for help with fibromyalgia, I ask you to consider coming to the Willow Bend Wellness Center, talking to those of us at the SOLBERG Center for Structural Integration and the Anti-Aging and Vitality Center to get the whole package. And there is help, there is hope.